2. Hello and welcome to Retro Cup in Live for Speed. Tonight is round 3 at Blackwood Outskirts. I'm Peter Butcher, and joining me in the commentary box tonight, the three wonderful voices that we have got so used to in the Retro Cup commentary booth, is Rob Mathershaw, Kieran Redman and Adam Sears. Gents, welcome back.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, all.
Hey guys, how are we doing this evening?
It's great to have you back in the booth. I'll be handing the microphone to you very shortly for the start of the racing action. But before we do that, let's go through a few bits of housekeeping, shall we? We are 3 rounds in after tonight's action, with 4 left to go after tonight as we head towards December 8th for that 2-hour special at Westhill to the South. But tonight it's about Blackwood Outskirts. This is a frightening looking track which makes use of most of the GP circuit, along with lots of the industrial estate and some other roads which you can't normally drive on, which have been made drivable for tonight's action. 8.4 kilometres, 5.2 miles, so an absolute beast of a combination, and we're going to have this for 30 laps with that great Le Mans style start that we've been so used to, and driver change is still allowed, so we'll see if anyone chooses to do that tonight again. We'll play the class presentation as we normally do. Enjoy.
Introducing the road class, Porsche Camera and Piran Firefly 200. These two cars are evenly matched and will bring some of the most spectacular action in the Retro Cup. These two cars have very different strengths. For example, the Porsche is much faster in the straights, while the Piran Firefly is a lightweight car capable of going full attack in the corners and make for a great spectacle. Introducing the Group 5. These GT cars are absolute beasts, capable of reaching speeds up to 300 kph. The Fendt Mustang Pro and the Porsche will bring the heat on the Retro Cup calendar. These cars have different strengths. For example, the Porsche is an absolute monster on the straights, while the Mustang Pro is a much more balanced car. These two cars are evenly matched and will bring the heat on the Retro Cup. Introducing the Prototype 2. Based on the mid-70s sports prototypes, the Wessex R74 is a fan favorite of the Retro Cup. Introduced in the Season 1 of the Series, this car is fast and very well balanced, and can even challenge the top class in some of the twistier tracks. You have to expect close battle and wheel-to-wheel action in all the rounds of the series. Welcome to the Prototype 1. This is the top class, the fastest cars of the Retro Cup. McElroy and Ferenzi. Two extremely fast and dangerous prototypes, capable of reaching speeds up to 350 km per hour. You'll have to show respect to these cars, or you could find yourself flying around the racetrack. The McElroy is the most powerful car in the series, but the Ferenzi have better drivability. These cars will bring the drivers to their absolute limit and will bring some of the most spectacular action you'll ever see on Live for Speed. Are you ready for the challenge, Retro drivers?
That is the fantastic class presentation that's been prepared to us by Lorenzo, the series promoter. Let's get straight on with the qualifying results, shall we? Qualifying finished around about 10 minutes ago, and it's the Muli who leads the way in the top class, the P1 class, ahead of Maserati in P2, with Gabba there, Lorenzo, Cymox, Hachiroku, Roni, Twin Cam, Rayman, and LG Mies, your top 10 overall. Then we've got Cried, who is leading the Group 5 class there, and it's Trespasser who leads the road class, as we look there at the top 20 on our results graphics, with a further 8 road drivers there on page 2. And well, it's about that time again. The drivers are going to fire up their engines, and I'm going to hand the microphone over to Rob Mathershaw for the start. Rob, take it away, as we're a minute or so from the grid, I think.
Thank you very much, Pete. Very much looking forward to this one. 8.4 grueling kilometres, as you said, of the Blackwood Outskirts, a track that has the conventional asphalt as well as some of the more unique aspects. So Kieran, what do you reckon for this one?
Well, it's going to be a race of attrition, I reckon, much like our previous 2 rounds. A little reminder for everyone, round 2, only 17 finishes from a starting grid of 40. So, again, it's going to be interesting to see if we have a few more finishes this time round, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 28 on the grid, as we mentioned, but some really interesting results. Thimuli once again looking imperious, the only driver under the 3-minute mark on such a long circuit. It should be a pretty interesting one, but again, that pace differential between the Prototype 1 and Prototype 2 class, it's not all that big. I think that should anything eventually or ultimately happen to our P1 competitors, once more P2 with a great chance of outright honours here.
Yeah, agreed. And as well, noticing a small switch there. Gabba, he is our Group 5 leader at the moment. He's made the switch to Prototype 2 class. So looking to see what he can do in some faster machinery.
Yeah, very much so. Taken to it like a duck to water, as you can see. Second position in Prototype 2 in the qualifying there. Lorenzo we've seen in terms of his pace in the class as well. But then Ashiroku in the 6th spot overall. He's a new name to the Prototype 2s, and yeah, it looks like he's going to be in with a shout and in with a decent bit of competition as well. So that's pretty good to see. And then, yeah, as we look at the road class, very close actually between Mad Jester, Stiefler and Steve Martin, all on the same second there on a nearly 4-minute lap. So really close there, but hopefully we don't see quite such a curse of leading the road class this time round. We're about to get underway here, so we can enjoy the wonderful engine notes that we hear in this Retro Cup series. As it says, race green, race clean, we are looking for wood. Here we go. So we've got the Le Mans start that we've come to know and love. We've got Thimuli, the first of those cars, with Maserati second place in Prototype 2 on the pole. It's 30 laps, and we are away and racing. Once more, Thimuli gets a great start there. Maserati looks like he's got away well as well, but also Gabba, and it's 3 wide as we are heading down this long opening straight. And in fact, I look at that overall into the lead. I think that is the number 96 machine of Gabba, is that, I believe. So wow, absolutely awesome start there. Thimuli, it might be the first time actually he hasn't led in the Retro Cup this season, but Thimuli there, Maserati looks like he's dropped away a little bit, as it's another frenetic start here for Retro Cup action, Kieran. So we've got Roni in first, Gabba's in third, but Roni with a fantastic start there from the 7th spot on the grid. That Prototype 1 getting away exceptionally well. And now into the more unique parts of the circuit. We've got this looping section as they then head over onto a very unique part of the circuit. Absolutely fantastic.
Apologies there, Rob. Yeah, just having some slight microphone issues there. Roni is leading this race. I think pigs are flying outside, guys. Roni is leading this race from Thimuli. This is a real turn up for the Bucks as they head through this real tight hairpin as we ride on board, looking up from the rear of Roni now back onto the imperious Thimuli, who is probably going to be feeling slightly shaken by this, Rob. Probably doesn't quite know what's going on, like a fish out of water. What is this? P2 on my dashboard? I don't think so.
Absolutely, and Roni, not only has he taken the lead at the start, he's got a little bit of a gap, just under a second. Thimuli here, maybe not going to have it all his own way, as we've seen so many times, well, both times so far. Roni there looks like he's locked the brakes a little bit, but it's, oh, and there we go, Thimuli pushing hard, as you can see, running slightly wide in the exit of that hairpin after the long straight. I don't know whether it's going to be a factor that they are at full pelt as they come into there and then getting hard on the brakes. It's a very hard stopping point there. We've got Gabba leading in that glorious green livery there in the leading P2. A little bit ahead of Lorenzo, whereas Cried as well has had a really good start in Group 5 ahead of Tim DC, but he's also critically got 2 of the prototype cars in between. So and here's that, I think that's Hiwatt. Yes, he looks like he's been in the wall, the right-hand side of the car. Driver's right is looking pretty deranged. First of our slight mishaps, as you said, we're anticipating to see quite a lot of them. He pulls off to the side. In fact, I think he's over.
The left rear didn't look great either.
Yeah, the left rear looks absolutely mangled as well. Roni's still taking the lead here, and oh, look at that. It's a nice wiggle on the exit, but Roni looks like he's really got to grips with the car today.
I'm curious, our championship leader Lorenzo in the break between rounds arranged a practice race on this circuit for people. So this is probably the best start we've seen all season. And interestingly, Roni's really improved as well. So I wonder if that's had an effect on people. They've had that kind of chaotic start the first time, learnt lessons, and then had a really good start this time.
That is an exceptional point. Roni comes through to complete the first lap, is it? Yep, there we go. And
Whoa.
brilliant! Look at the front wheels coming off the ground on the little elevation there on the home straight. That's fantastic. Look at we've just heard
more of that
from Chris
race.
mentioning that the low downforce setup would appear to be on Roni's car there, but yeah, Thamuli 7/10 behind after we finished lap 1. That first 8.5 kilometers really going to Roni there. Looking at Sufor leading in the road category. They've got Trespasser and then Stiefler in the third spot. Hopefully they can all finish this one after a couple of frenetic rounds so far. But yeah,
looks like a new paint scheme for Trespasser there.
It does. That resplendent red livery with the black racing stripes. I'm a big fan of that.
Is it a shell livery?
It might well be, We'll get an off-board shot here. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Mr. Director. It is indeed a beautiful livery there for Trespasser. I think we might have an early contender for Sears livery of the race.
I think it might well be.
That's fantastic. So we haven't seen anyone yet. That's a very good point in my ear. I shouldn't be so biased, but I always love the red car. And we've got Moti Mukari here, 14th position, 4th in Prototype 1. Another new name to the Prototype 1 ranks here, driving that Ferrari. It looks like a little bit of damage on the front right, and we've got Omar here looking like he's going to make a move, but he's holding it around the outside is Macho, and I think, yes, Macho's going to stick ahead.
But that's another new teammate for Thamuli as well.
Ah, very good point. Good spot. I'm glad that you're the one paying attention here, Sears. I'm just looking at cars moving around the circuit. It's big stuff. But yeah, Roni actually pulling out a lead here, 1.2 seconds over Thamuli. We've seen Roni have a little bit of flashes of pace during the first 2 rounds of our season here in Retro Cup. But looks like he's managing to extract a little bit more even than he has done before. And Thamuli, again, as I say, not going to have it all his own way, with Gabba 3.8 seconds off the overall lead. But looking really to get a nice view there of this more unique part of the circuit, the shipping containers aligned so that we get this wonderful layout here at Blackwood.
A bit of air there.
Yeah, no, we've seen quite a lot of flying cars today. As long as we don't get something akin to Mark Webber in the late 90s at Le Mans, we'll be having a good day. Or indeed, I think it was Lorenzo in round 1 who went flying into the trees. We've got Highwatt coming back through the field after his issues. I did notice that he had pitted once he had those issues, so coming through past the road car runners nice and cleanly. We've got Zlatanov in the pits as well, unfortunately. But yeah, so plenty of action for some of the Group 5 runners today, unfortunately, so far. A couple of mishaps.
Yeah, we've got Martin here going around the outside of Macho as well, with as much racing room as you like on this section of the circuit here. It's about as wide as you want, and he navigates through, does Martin. That's another position gained. The interesting, a couple of narratives just to pick up on there. We touched on a few different topics. There's been a bit of a BOP change again between round 2 and round 3. The Ferenzi, which is being driven by Thamuli, has actually been given an additional weight category penalty of 140 kilos of ballast compared to the 100 we saw last round, and he's also got a 4% engine deficit restriction, which is doing its best, I suppose, to try and be the equalizer, and it seems to have worked so far. Thamuli, though, keeping Roni honest and not letting him out of his sights. But we now cut back to Sufor, who continues to lead the road class category. This is the closest championship on the grid, the only category of the 4 that has seen different winners. All the respective leaders of the different categories have picked up maximum points across both rounds, but yet the road class remains highly contested, and it is really contested between Trespasser and Sufor, with Trespasser all over the rear bumper, Rob.
Yeah, Sufor not letting Trespasser get away here. No, other way around, sorry. Sufor not being able to get away from Trespasser. I think that Sufor's got a different livery as well, hasn't he? It's another good looking purple car, but yeah, Trespasser right in the slipstream as they head down into this right-left chicane, very reminiscent of some of the chicanes you saw in the late 70s and 80s on the fastest parts of different circuits around the world. Hiwatt coming in to split the two up and stop the battle only briefly though, and it looks like that one is going to resume action exceptionally fast. Roney now 9/10 of a second up the road from Thamuli, and as you mentioned, that balance of performance change, I'm not going to credit all of the car. Obviously, Roney has clearly got a good grip on how to drive it, but certainly it looks like the balance today is going to be really exciting to see.
Yeah, the difference from Roney's previous races to now, it's not just car. That's definitely him practicing a lot in the break. It's got to be.
Yeah, I completely agree. But one of the things I'm going to say is obviously Thamuli's one of the main adjectives we've ascribed to him over the previous 2 rounds is consistency and his ability to navigate the traffic. We'll have to see if Roney can replicate that, not across the first 3 laps, but across the total 30 in mind, as we look at a very battered Macho there, as we have Martin currently leading ahead of Macho there in just behind him, just in that purple livery car there. But yeah, Martin looking to press on and try and get a grip of the road class category now, as we see a great move up the inside from Manchester. That is a lovely lunge from him there as he pushes. I can't see who that's on. I think it's Magic there up the inside. This is their old sparring partners here across the last 2 rounds. 2 different cars. Again, another small BOP between both these vehicles. The Porsche actually getting I believe a 4% engine restriction on there to try and make the Firefly a little bit more competitive, and it seems to be working again. So we're getting much closer racing this time, which I think as well is probably down to that practice race that Adam Sears has been mentioning a couple of times.
Yeah, definitely. Trespasser has made a move for the lead. It looks like they are side by side. Indeed they are. Trespasser will just about get ahead as they go into this next fast right-hander, and then there's going to follow another fast left before the heavy braking zone, the first of the 2 in this elevated section of circuit. Trespasser now side by side with Sufor. He's going to have the inside line as they get under the braking zone, but it looks like Sufor is just going to be ahead, and discretion possibly the better part of valor there. Later on in the race, Trespasser might make that move for keeps, but electing to duck back into the slipstream, into the tyre tracks of Sufor, who just about retains the race lead.
Well, while these 2 continue to fight, look at that orange shark lurking in the background. We've got Stiefler, round 2 race winner, lurking and awaiting for his opportunity once again. Shout out to the Jägermeister livery, one of the nicest on the grid. But he continues to be an ever-present, orange ever-present figure in the background, waiting for his opportunity on lap 4 of 30. He will definitely play a factor later on in this race, make no doubt about it, gentlemen.
Absolutely, but looking at his front left quarter panel, it looks like Stiefler has just made a little bit of contact with the wall at some point. You can just see a little bit of tyre exposed, so don't think that'll be any damage. As you say, his pace is still looking brilliant, and indeed with the battling duo for the lead, he is catching, but he's clearly pushing hard to do it. Another man that's pushing hard is Thamuli, 1.5 seconds off the lead. Roney's absolutely managed to just eke out a bit more there. That corner is really interesting for those prototype ones. You can see that they're laying tyre tracks as they're on the acceleration. I just don't think their steering lock's quite enough to get round really securely into that tight right-hander.
So something I've noticed, Nico is right down in, I think, 25th place in the Prototype 1 class. Obviously, last race, he was there or thereabouts in the race, so I was kind of curious what that is. Sent the pit reporters down. I think lap 1, he got taken out twice, had to leave and rejoin. So that's why he's so far down.
Ouch. Yeah, big shame there, but really good stuff rejoining. And well, we've seen, as we've mentioned, you said it earlier, Kieran, that race of attrition that we get in the Retro Cup. To be honest, if you rejoin a lap down at the end of lap 1, I think there's still every chance of a class podium, if not more, in some of these races. So really good stuff to see him continuing, as we've got this wonderful picturesque shot of the Blackwood circuit with Roney still, in fact, Roney's extended that lead a little bit according to the timing screen, 2.6 seconds, while Trespasser still stalking the back of Sufor in that Datsun on Datsun action. Trespasser looks like he's possibly a little bit smoother. We've got Mias in from 11th place, 3rd in Prototype 1. I don't know whether that's what kind of deranged car he's going to have. We've seen a couple of instant incidents. We've got damage and tyres have been reported for Mies. But Trespasser here, I don't know what you guys think, but it looks a little bit smoother. I think he's got the pace, but I think it's a question of just waiting until he gets that right moment rather than doing anything too rash at this early stage.
Just looks like he's cranking up the pressure, dialing up the temperature, trying to test Sufort. Where's he quick? Where's he slow? Are there any gaps, any chinks in the armor for him across a lap? It looks like Trespasser and Sufort, as it is for the moment, will be the ones contending, with Stiefler and Manchester lurking behind. But these two certainly stamping their authority on the road class here, round 3. But Trespasser could be looking into the heavy braking zone as they do dive now in, and there's a slight touch and contact there around the hairpin there. Trespasser just running into the back of Sufort there. A little bit of a clumsy touch there, but probably nothing too badly there. But now, as I think reports in our ear, that traffic is starting to be lapped. Our leaders are coming up to the back of our road class category, as we've got a battle going on here now between our Prototype 2 cutters. It's Maserati and just trying to work out who that is as well that's alongside with them. There's Hachiroku's leading, and Hachiroku's leading, and then we've also got Maserati there as well, both contending for their respective lead in their category as well. As another big dive.
Outbrakes himself slightly there. Unbelievable. Sorry to cut across you. I thought we were about to get absolute carnage there, as we've got Hachiroku chasing down Maserati, who is 5th overall and 3rd in the class in that Martini livery. Is this road car going to be a factor? It's jinking to the right to avoid it. Hachiroku right into the slipstream, and it looks like he's going to pull alongside before the first of our right-hand hairpins here at Blackwood. He's on the inside, but it's going to be from a long way back if we can get Maserati to recover. He's done it, but on the switchback, Hachiroku's not going to give this one up just yet. This is now a straight drag all the way along, and Hachiroku will have the inside after the right kink and the left kink. It will be a right hairpin. That was the wrong hairpin, I do apologise, but Maserati is on the inside, but it's another switchback from Hachiroku. Fantastic driving. Got a little bit squirrely there, but he's got to the... Oh, what a move, Hachiroku. Fantastic. Welcome to Prototype 2.
He has teed that up 3 corners beforehand. That was absolutely beautiful stuff, but he's ran wide again, and Maserati's taken that from him straight away. But this is not over just yet. Hachiroku is back in the slipstream. He's got the overrun. Can he get his nose up the inside? We've got traffic as well.
Brave.
There's a slight cut across there as well, as you said there, Adam. Breaking now into this really tight, twisty chicane. They have managed to navigate their way through. Fabulous stuff. Brilliant things to see between these two.
Yeah, awesome stuff. We're hearing that Rony has spun. Yeah, he's gone off. The race leader has spun off the road, leaving Famuli back into the lead. That is an unbelievable. That's such a shame there for Rony. But we've got a P2 that might take the lead here. We've got Gabba right behind Famuli, we're seeing as well. So it looks, from that, I'm adding 2 and 2, maybe making 5, but it looks like Rony and Famuli may well have come together, if that means that Famuli has lost enough time for Gabba to be right there or thereabouts. Famuli, with that hour of Prototype 1, is now pulling away. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but it looks like Rony and Famuli did come together. Rony lost 8 seconds there to our race leader as well. So a bit of argy-bargy perhaps from Rony there. Oh, that's unbelievable fortune. He's spun it now. I think he's been pushing so hard trying to catch back onto the back of the pack. Oh, there you go, Hachiroku and Maserati getting back through, but Hachiroku now back ahead. So yeah, really, really good stuff as they go past Trespasser, 2nd place, I believe that was, in... Oh, Hachiroku's gone in deep there.
He's gone.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
contact. It's contact.
Oh, no.
Even more contact. Unbelievable stuff. 3rd place and 4th in Prototype 2. Every time you think that incident got bad enough, it got worse. Unbelievable. I think Trespasser absolutely nailed there. Oh, and it looks like Hachiroku's got some damage that's going to need repairs, unfortunately.
I think that might be a leave and rejoin.
Just as I thought we were going to get some clean racing in Prototype 2, unfortunately we've had a little bit of an issue. But that all started with Hachiroku going in extraordinarily deep. I thought he had just caught it when he got onto that slide, but unbelievable stuff, gents. I think he has stalled it. You're right, Sears. No, he's just getting going. We are hearing in our ear. And it looks like, it says the car might be totaled. Maserati 5th place still. But Gabba's made a move for the overall lead here. He's now past Famuli. I think that Prototype 2 looks like it's pretty good In the slower sections, I would anticipate seeing Thamuli drafting right up to the back in the more powerful Prototype 1 car, but there could be a really interesting dynamic. So we're going to see what happens here, boys.
We do say every race, these races are more and more exciting every time. This is just carrying on going again. Where do you look?
Say it louder for the people in the back. Anything that can happen in endurance racing will happen. I've said this every single round, and we just saw there several key contenders across 3 different categories, all stumbling and falling over each other. A calamity of errors led to some of the worst possible outcomes, and look, and it continues here. What a absolute battle we've got going on here between 3 different classes
Martin
here.
Past Magic.
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah, Martin overpass Magic there, and that is quite big for the championship as well. We've got some big contenders going on here in the road class. It's the most open class of the lot. Only 25 points separating the top 6 runners. Obviously, 25 points being what you can get for a race lead. So keep an eye on the road category, because anyone can change, and I believe Maserati is heading into the pits, Rob.
Absolutely. He looks like he's going through the pit entry now. Mad Jester's in the wall, we're hearing as well. This is unbelievable. If anyone tells me they want to just do something else with their Tuesday night, I'm going to call them a liar. Thamuli and Gabba now. Thamuli looks like he's going to go on the left-hand side as the driver views it, drafting past with that massive speed advantage of the Prototype 1. But that Wessex gets deep in the braking zone. It looks like it's far more nimble today than the Prototype 1 as well. So Gabba and Thamuli, looks like this battle is set to go on and on. We all know, of course, with different classes that you end up with different points and you're aiming to win your class. But overall honours, especially if you're in one of the secondary classes, absolutely will be the aim for Gabba here. We've got the wonderful onboard for Thamuli as well, as we're seeing him rag that Ferrari for all it is worth as he just pops over the curb. Gabba getting a nice little run onto that curb, over the little hop there. We've got plenty of little bumps and lumps in the racetrack to make this one hard to handle. This is an incredible start to the race, but Gabba is absolutely molesting Thamuli all the way through the twisty bits. Thamuli's just glad to see every straight so he can put the loud pedal down and get a little bit of breathing room.
You know what? I think we heard from our experts in the break that on these surfaces, these are concrete surfaces. So obviously normally you've got the asphalt, but these surfaces are different and they behave differently. So the potential that with the amount of power being put down, these cars are handling differently trying to exit these corners and how they handle. So that might be part of it as well.
Yeah, really good insight there, Sears. I think you can certainly see that there's a different response for each of the cars here. And then there you go, Gabba now in the faster parts of the circuit, 1.5 seconds behind our race leader. But every time, as you say, we get into the twisty bits and we get into a different track surface, that advantage almost seems to flip as Omar, exuberant in his driving style, through that corner. And we've got, it looks like, who's that going past? I think that must be Mies in the other of our Ferraris in that livery. Sorry, it's Motomikari. We've got the third car in that livery for today
Just
as well.
to confuse you.
Well, it's easily done, isn't it? But
You said it, not me.
Well, that's good stuff. And I say, I'll remember as well that I think he's got my favourite racing number on, so he has indeed. So he's become my favourite. It won't be the favourite of that road car. Steve has just unfortunately been pushed out by Motomikari there. As I was praising his choice of number, I'm not, I'm afraid, going to praise his choice of braking zone in that corner. Steve Martin, unfortunately, moving out from 4th position. But yeah, it looks like he's lost a little bit, unfortunately. But wow, even when we thought it was going to get a little bit calm, it has just got that little bit heated.
Do I now have a few seconds to slip in? So we've got the road class here. Balance performance again changed for this race on the Porsche. An increase in engine restriction, which seems to have made an effect because you've got 2 of the Datsun Perenzis in 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, I think as we look at Mad Jester with most of the right-hand side of the car trying to make its way to being part of the left side of the car there. I think we must have hit something quite hard for that to happen. Sorry, Sears. Yes, I think that we have to give the championship organiser several amounts of credit for the balance of performance, certainly today. We all know it's an evolving process, and the key idea here is that over the course of this long championship, it's going to balance out and everybody gets their go at it. And yeah, you have to say that today it's looking really good.
Well, there were some discussions in the road class category last round about potentially switching up the cars. Some drivers thinking about maybe changing up the vehicle they were using in the championship, but potentially it was a good thing for those that decided to stick rather than twist, because it does seem to be that the Datsun is got the well, at least on a level playing field now with the Porsche in the road category, but it just blown this championship wide open. Like I said, 25 points at covering our top 6 drivers in the championship here, so it is all to play for in the road categories. But again, I think just to scan back to it, well, lap 8, Famuli is obviously now taking his customary place at the top of the timing tower, leading by 3.2 seconds. But yeah, for the last 8 laps, gents, we've seen him slightly rattled, let's say, running in P2 and challenging for P1 as Mad Jester gets all sideways and crossed up through the chicane. Yes, that was very loose and happened right in front of a Group 5 car, which is trying to navigate its way around there. And we're just having him fly around the outside, this lovely wide part of the track here as we goes past Magic as well, which is great stuff. But Mad Jester is doing his best to get onto the rear bumper of Magic now through this tight and twisty section here, because it's sliding in full opposite lock. How do you like that, gents? That's really lovely stuff there from Mad Jester as he continues to hunt down Magic for 4th overall in category. Sufol leading from Trespasser, from Stiefler, from Magic in the road class category. Do not look anywhere. This category is hotting up.
You cannot knock the commitment, can you? It's all out, all on track. Give it everything.
Absolutely. And I think anyone who uses the phrase, the track looks like a car park as a term of derision, has clearly never seen this place. Absolutely awesome racing. And I love it. And we've got Omar side by side now with Mad Jester.
Whoa!
And we've got going through the middle. That was Mies. That was Mies. I saw the number 13 on that one. And then a little bit of a slide for Mad Jester, and Omar is going to tuck back inside, not being able to get anything out of that one. But Magic's not that far ahead of this duo either. If they can just work together and avoid the battle for a little bit longer, we're going to see a 3-way battle for 4th position, in the road category. But we've got the leaders going through lapping as we've mentioned, all the way up now to 14th. All of the road cars are safe for another lap from our race leader, and then now on to the Group 5 cars in terms of lapping. But I think we also have to point out that Gabor doing a brilliant job, of course, moving over to Prototype 2, and he's not only battling really for the overall lead, but that 2-second gap over Lorenzo, who's proven to be fast on various occasions in the Prototype 2 cars. Really, really impressive stuff.
The more excitement we had in the break, Porsche did release a upgrade package for the, I believe it was a road class car. Or it might have been the Group 5, not 100%. But yeah, that upgrade package came out, was tested, and immediately banned by the organisers because it was just unbelievably quick. So we're back to the original spec car. That's
a really good bit of insight. I love that. I think that, the key in motorsport, try it, and until it gets banned, keep using it. Unfortunately, they didn't get a chance to keep using it. That's a bit of a shame. But I think that when you look at the first 2 in the category, Cried and Tim in the Ford and the Porsche, respectively, 9th and 10th overall, you have to say that decision to at least keep the 2 similar as they are for now is not a bad one.
Well, developers and drivers are always looking for the unfair advantage. It is the most coveted thing you can have in your vehicle of choice. And I think we've had just some instant maybe there for Magic as well. And he's holding on to that position as much as he can. He's hanging on to it with his fingernails. We've got Mad Jester chasing him down. And then in turn, Omar chasing him down as well into the braking zone. Magic getting slightly crossed up there. Mad Jester right on his rear bumper. But now Mad Jester's running wide. Can Omar capitalize? Nothing doing just yet. Magic pulling out a little bit of a gap there, but the pressure is building. Someone has to crack in these 3 as Mad Jester is pitting, and so is not just Mad Jester going in there, and Omar takes over the position. Mad Jester, be interesting to see, getting a bit of repair work done there on the side of his vehicle, looking more like a full 100% loaded Datsun now, as opposed to maybe a 75%, as Magic continues to push on in P4 in category, gents.
Are you saying that his front quarter panel had a higher ping than the rest of the car by any chance?
No comment.
Great stuff. I love that corner that we've just seen Magic and Omar go through there. It's that kind of right-left flip with that curb and a bit of grass on the inside. The amount of curb and indeed the grass that they are taking is just spectacular, as we've seen Magic there. Look, Magic's driving the car. We've seen it before from him, driving the car on the rear wheels quite a lot there, and it certainly didn't seem to do him badly. And if we're saying that that's the truth, Omar absolutely wild out of that one as they head down towards another one of these little chicanes, another little bump there. Great stuff from all involved. Steve recovering from his incident earlier on. He looks like he's still within striking distance of some really good points in the category today, so he'll be hoping for a nice clean one. I think we've got one of the, I think it might be the race leader, but I saw one of the prototype ones zipping through that final part for the final corner, and indeed it is race leader Thamuli, who is about to come and stalk the rest of the road category again to put another lap on them.
This is like a piranha that's been dropped in the fish tank. It's absolutely coming for everything else in there. Thamuli is hunting them down as he comes up onto the back of Steve Martin. Hopefully Steve won't find himself the victim of another traffic incident. He doesn't, and Thamuli safely navigates him now. Gabba getting all sideways in the number 9 on exit as Thamuli now navigates past Magic as well. Lovely, clean navigation as we've come to expect from Thamuli there. Running the number 69 again, continuing to lead his category. But speaking of category leaders in the championship, Stiefler is leading but running P3 here in class at the moment, 15 or so seconds I believe off the category leader, which is Sufor, and Trespasser is in second place there as well. Apologies, 15 seconds behind Trespasser in second place. We've got Seamox here. Seamox, interestingly enough, gents, was one of our naughty school kids at the back of the bus. He was actually told to start this race from the back of the grid following an incident at round number 2, but he finds himself up into P7 overall, and he's going to soon about to make it P6 as he dives up the inside and heavy into the braking zone, blocks the apex, holds it there, block pass, and on the accelerator in the end. But there, I think we've got someone coming back there now, but nothing doing. Seamox takes the place from Rayman. Lovely stuff as he continues his march up. I've spoke too soon, off the outside, and he's back behind Rayman.
I was about to compliment that driving. And,
that was textbook until Seamox decided to use all the curve and then a little bit more, unfortunately, but I don't think it's going to be long, and Seamox indeed looks down the inside trying to get through onto, I think that this would be the national start-finish straight if I'm correct, but they veer left instead into the unique part of this circuit. As we've seen, it is unlike anything I've ever seen, really. It's a brilliant bit of track. Seamox, though, looks like he's very much trying to get Rayman. Just a little bit of developing story here, gents. We've got Roni in P4, second place in Prototype 1, 17 seconds off Thamuli. Well, a lap ago that was 18.5, and a few laps before that it was 20 odd. So he is certainly still on the pace, even if he's lost a little bit of track position. So that one is far from over if Roni can keep his nose clean, and possibly even if Thamuli has trouble of his own, as unlikely as it might seem from his previous performances. Roni is very much in with a chance here, and I think it was, you're right, just a little bit of a tap on the wall for one of our drivers.
That was a Group 5 Porsche. I'm not quite sure who that was, but yeah, under braking, just obviously snap left and tap the wall.
And there is. Just saying, Seamox has just got round Rayman finally. He's put his stamp on that position. Rayman getting slightly sideways on exit. And I think we've got Maserati on the outside, which will now become the inside for the next segment of this turn as they dive into the braking zone, holding a nice tight line, trying to block it off. Rayman looking for the up and under. Nothing doing there for him. Maserati takes a position that's 2 places down in as many corners for Rayman. He's going backwards, Rob.
Yeah, he is, unfortunately. Maserati, of course, as well, having made a stop. So, yeah, we're looking good for Maserati here. Not possibly so much from Rayman. Now, I think last of our current runners in the Prototype 2 category. We've got Unite in 15th overall, but making his way forward now. He's 1 minute 47 away from the next car, possibly a little bit more than that for the next car in Prototype 1.
Of course, he had dramas on the first lap.
He did indeed.
That was close.
As we've already said, he's now basically made his way through a third of the field, and obviously the cars he's still got to get through are faster, but he's certainly pushing that one hard, as we've got Steve pushing really hard himself now, right behind Magic into the draft. brilliant camera views here from the aerial shot. They're both going to get Omar bump drafting down this long start straight as they head now into eventually 3 wide. Steve looks like he's going to try and get both of them, but unfortunately got a little bit greedy. He pushed Magic through, but has cost himself a position ahead of Omar. But Omar's not going to take that one lying down. Magic 20th overall, 19th now overall. Takes a bit too much curve. It's not the first time we said that about someone defending a position through there. And Omar is going to be tight on Magic here, going through the next left-hander. Steve, just watching brief now, thinks if I'm the third of these 3 cars, I'm going to be the first as soon as they make contact now as they go through the sweeping left and right before making that hard 90 left. A big slide there for Omar, but he's going to block that into the left-hander. Oh, that was a bit of a tap on the wall, I believe, from Magic. I don't know whether that's done some damage, but I think going around the outside now is Omar. Breathless stuff here, gents.
It is hotting up in this category as Omar shows his nose and he's up the inside. And Magic is getting all crossed up and there's more contact there. They all get away with it. I do not know how. Steve is up the inside. Can he get 2 into 1? Yes, he does, but can he hold it, gents? As we now head into the heavy braking zone and into the hairpin. And Omar is under brakes and squirrely trying to lock it up on the apex and hold position. We've got traffic coming up, gents. You guys need to move out of the way. It is all hotting up there now as we've got these gents in prototype 2 navigating around. We've got CMOX Maserati going around the inside there, but we've got cars taking different lines. Maserati's been blocked by the road class category. He's losing his own race now as they navigate through 1, 2, 3 different road class categories, but now we're looking into 1, 2, 3 wide into the hairpin now. We've got Magic, we've got Martin, we've got Omar, 3 wide into the hairpin zone, into the braking. They're all taking 3 different braking zones, 3 different lines. Omar hanging it as far as he can. There's contact. They all take it. They're blocking Rayman. Rayman is struggling to get through as well. It's frantic stuff, Rob. As you said, I can barely breathe, but somehow, some way, they've all got through cleanly as Omar now leads Magic and Steve Martin. But we've now got, I think, Unite just diving his way through there as well. Why not add another race category? Go on then. Where's the Group 5 car? That's the only one we're missing.
That was awesome stuff there. We've just had about 4 kilometers of racing between the 3 of them. I think they've all occupied all 3 positions, but it's as you were.
How does it happen? They went 3 wide in there. I thought it was going to be a simply catastrophic accident. All got through totally fine. Crazy.
The more things change, the more things stay the same, as now Magic looks around the outside of Martin now as well. They are not giving up, and there's the group. There we are. I asked for it, and there he is, the Group 5 traveling through now. We're there as well into the braking zone, and it's a nice tight section here. It'll have to be single file through here. Only real 1 line in, 1 line out. They both hop over the curb again, and taking a little bit more there does Magic. This is frantic stuff for the road class category. It's so good, and that's Cried. Yeah, he's our Group 5 category leader. He is leading this race. He's trying to take up the mantle from Gabba.
That's
very
Unite. Close
there. I think we've had some contact, maybe. No, I think we've all just got away with that just about.
Contact with the front runner, the prototype.
We've just caught
contact.
I think we've caught the tail end of that there. We've got cars everywhere. It looks like, oh no, I was going to say it looks like Steve's going slowly, but he is compared to the Group 5 Porsche. But no, he's absolutely fine. They've broken things up a little bit, but Omar will be pushed wide. And Unite apparently has pulled off to the side and won't be around for at least a little bit longer. And yeah, Omar looks like he's still got his little bit of a margin over Steve and Magic. But and we've got Mazda on Simox going through as well. In fact, there we go. Mazda diving down the inside of Simox. Brilliant timing there from our producer, Chris. And yeah, that's P4, I believe. Yeah, P4 and LMP2, apologies. I'm looking at the screen while trying to look at cars, and it turns out I've just made myself cross-eyed. But then we've got someone backwards. That was one. It looked like one of the dark blue Maserati. It was Twin Cam. Twin Cam, unfortunately, again has pulled off as well. But Maserati.
Twin Cam's in the prototype too, as well, isn't he?
Yes, he is indeed. Well, he was.
He was. Thank you.
He was. We've got Simox here stalking, I think, Maserati. I think it's only a matter of time. We've seen a couple of good moves between them, but let's see what happens.
He's fast and he is definitely furious as well. And they are on the back of Trespasser. Trespasser just trying to stay out of the way and run his own race in the road class category. Maserati's been given a little bit of breathing room there from C-Mox there as they're just trying to navigate that sort of slower category as they now head into the super wide hairpin now going around the outside of our road class. I think that's our road class leader there, Sufor, my apologies, as he keeps well wide, not wanting to have a repeat of what happened in round 2 as C-Mox just brushing the wall there, using all of the track that he possibly can. Yeah, I think he's going to get away with that just fine. But there's Sufor now continuing to lead his road class category. I haven't seen too much of him, but just running a very nice, calm, controlled race for now. I'm sure we've had plenty of moments off camera that we've not caught. We've certainly caught plenty of them on camera, gents. No more so than having a car facing backwards into that tight, twisty section through the pit area.
Did you see this? Have you seen his crazy helmet though? See if we can get a shot of it. But that's a wild one. Fair play to him. He's put his effort into that.
I'm speechless. Sufor there, you mentioned it, Kieran. He might have had some wild moments off track or off camera. He was in the braking zone for Sufor there. Or I think I couldn't tell whether it was the fronts or the rears, but locking up with some brilliant 11s as he goes into that tight hairpin. So certainly still pushing exceptionally hard.
He really is, and it'd be nice to see another one as we've got some competition going here. Gabba going around the outside of Mies there, lapping him. That's a LMP, that's a Prototype 2 car lapping a Prototype 1, but Gabba pushing for everything and more. He is fully sideways and crossed up. Every time we look at him, he's having the most exciting race possible. He is loving the transition from Group 5 to Prototype 2, taking it to like a duck to water. I think we've used that phrase once or twice for him as Mies continues to plod along fourth in category. And we've got Omar and Steve. This battle is going again. It's round 5 or 6, I think, so far in this race. It's only lap 13, boys. And we're looking back from Omar now on Steve Martin as he continues to hunt him down. It's Datsun versus Porsche. Pick what camp you sit in. It's Martin is closing decides to break a little bit earlier than Omar, who runs as far as he can, slightly more chaotic through that chicane. Martin gets a much better run, takes a bit more curb. Looks like Omar's fighting the car there as we ride on board with Martin. They're running a very similar line, full opposite lock, lovely controlled slide from Omar there. Not sure it's the fastest, but it certainly is the flashiest as they break now. And again, another dive into this tight section here. Martin is all over him like a cheap suit. He is not letting him go. And you can see the front of Martin's car is all dented and damaged, no doubt from pushing Omar along there as well. These two are not giving anything up, Rob.
Oh, it's fantastic stuff. Omar making full use of the slip in his limited slip diff with the one tyre fire. It's doing pretty much every corner. It's brilliant stuff. But as you say, it might not be the fastest, but it's certainly one of the best looking ways. He was right behind Stiefler at one point, I believe. No, he wasn't. I was looking at the wrong bit of the timing screen. Don't worry about that. Yeah, this is exceptionally close. Steve now in the slipstream. They're both over hard right on the track. Steve's going to try and pull back for the racing line. And in fact, he's just going to draft all the way past. I think with that bit of damage on the front of the car there, perhaps that Steve, has got that little bit of power in the Porsche. We know that it's been restricted, but it's still a good race car in a straight line. Steve taking advantage of that. I wonder if these two now will just sit for a little bit. To be honest, on previous form and from what we've seen, the answer to that's definitely going to be no, but they're certainly pulling away from magic.
I was going to say,
if I can point out your eyes to the timing towers, people. First to 11th, and it was 12th up until just now, all on the same lap still. As we are, 14, 15 laps into this race?
Absolutely. We are, of course, on track. That's a lap probably double what we might expect, or at least a third longer with the 8.4 kilometres, as we have Motu Makari being lapped by Thamuli. Look at that, brilliant stuff, getting right out the way of his teammate, allowing his race-leading teammate no troubles there whatsoever. Rayman pits from 5th in Prototype 2. That resplendent red car
schedule, don't you?
Sitting, well, we're about the halfway mark, so if you're going to split it down the middle and do a Larry McReynolds, I think that's a good way of doing things.
Yeah, taking their moment just to breathe and just control his pace there, getting some new tyres on his wagon as he pulls out of the pit and heads on to start his new lap with some fresh brutes. It'll take a moment or two for those tyres to warm up, but once they are up to temperature, he will have a grip advantage over his compatriots as he looks to climb the rankings in the Prototype 2 category, I should say. It's Themuli from Gabba, from Lorenzo, from Roni, from Maserati, your top 5. C-Mox has climbed all the way from last to 6th. Following his indiscretions in Retro Cup round 2. Really good to see from him. He's only just under 4 seconds behind Maserati. That battle will no doubt be continuing there as Rayman looks to get his tyres up to temperature and looks to try and climb up his grid. Cried is also leading Group 5 at the moment, which is really nice to see. Obviously, we're looking for a new pretender to the crown to take up the mantle there in Group 5 with Gabba's very successful transition, I might add, to the Prototype 2 category as well as he runs in P2 and keeping Themuli very honest at sub 9 seconds between Gabba and Themuli. This race is not over as we approach half distance.
No, far from it. I think, as you say, Themuli still in the lead like we've seen before, but to say that it's been like the other 2 races would be a disservice to everybody else involved. It's been brilliant from everybody else, and Roni is now 13 seconds away from Themuli. He's pulled out another 8 seconds in the last 3 laps or so. So again, if I'm going to put my £5 somewhere, it might well be there as we see Lorenzo on the timing tower pitting, as does Highwatt from 4th in Group 5. You mentioned Cried, of course, leading by about 7 seconds over Tim DC. In the road category, it's Sufor Trespasser 3 seconds behind in second, with Stiefler quite a way further back, but in no man's land, about 25 seconds ahead, 25 seconds behind. Then it's Steve Martin, Omar and Magic, usually about as fast as you can say them. That's where they are on the track, but Magic's just pulling back a little bit. Lorenzo there getting away in the pits. Steve
just see
has
both the race green cars came in the pits at the same time there, so that's
maybe
presumably a team strategy.
So Roni apparently in the pits here, changing setup. There we go, we see him on the camera. That wonderful dinosaur livery. It's about the greenest car I've ever seen. Tyres damaged, setup and fuel we're hearing from Chris in the box.
That's
so,
a full whammy, isn't it?
As I say, he's certainly getting the most out of his service plan for that McLaren today. So great stuff there from Roni.
We were commenting on the start. He cleared off to the front, but then also he went over that lip and flew up in the front end, flew up in the air. Potentially, he went a bit too aggressive with that and has had to dial it back a bit for drivability. Potentially, that's just me throwing out an idea there.
Maybe a couple of turns on the front and rear wings there, trying to get some more downforce as he heads over that lip there, looking more something out of Top Gun, like a Tomcat taking off from an aircraft carrier, like Maverick at the wheel. But Roni now potentially there a much more calmer setup as he heads into the final 15 laps of this race. They're now heading that way through the chicane there. Roni, obviously,
we can see over the start-finish straight if he flies up again or not.
Yeah, let's stay with him for this moment. I think it's coming up kind of soon, I believe. If he's going to take off now as we all hold our breath.
And unfortunately, our race director there, trying to be clever, doesn't quite manage it. We'll get it next time, lads, don't worry. But Roni, 20 seconds behind the next car on track. Lorenzo, P2, P2 in the class, but P4 overall at the moment. But you have to say he's pitted from 4th. He's come out 4th, obviously, with that gap, but looks like he's got a bit of clear air to drive into. We know that doesn't last too long in Retro Cup because there's always something to overtake. But Roni, he's going to be my dark horse here, and I'll stand by it when I've cursed him. But Themuli coming around one of the built-up sections of the circuit here. It's still looking very nice for Themuli. The way that he drives the car, the body language, the attitude of it always looks smoother than some of the others. I noticed Roni, he looks very much in control, does Roni, but it looks very, very, very on the limit at points. Admittedly, there coming out of that corner, it looks pretty good as he's got Maserati 4 seconds behind. Gabba pits from 2nd overall and 1st in the Prototype 2 category. So really good stuff here. And coming in to join him is I think it's Moto Makari. It is indeed in the 22 car there. So he's doing tyres and fuel.
On the helmet is spectacular, by the way.
I thought you might like that one. Why are you looking at drivers' helmets today, Sears?
No comment.
no further comment required. Thamuli coming through towards now what will be the final corner to start lap 16. So, yeah, he's just about to flick over the halfway mark, and we're going to see whether or not Thamuli's going to do a jump at the end of the start finish straight here. We'll put the cameraman on the spot. No, it
That
was
looked
very
planted
nice.
to me.
It looked very good.
Of course, a
didn't it?
different car, the McLaren versus the Ferenti.
Absolutely. Roni eating into Lorenzo here. It was 20 odd seconds. It's now 17, but a big moment there for Roni on the power. But he seems
We
to be
did say he
handling
went
it
for a
really
more
nicely.
conservative setup, but that seemed anything but.
Maybe he's got a bit of confidence and he's just gone for something a bit wild.
I'd respect it.
I just want to say, for anyone just joining this broadcast now, having a look at the timing tower, people would think, oh, Thamuli leading by 49 seconds. That seems pretty normal, but it's been anything but. He's been challenged. He's not been our race leader from the start. He's been put under pressure. And I think this move by Roni might quietly be a really, really good strategy. Put on a slightly different setting, get a bit more confidence in the car, and start to push on while he takes advantage of the BOP changes again. Obviously, a bigger weight penalty and engine restriction on the car that Thamuli is currently handling versus the McLaren, which we're seeing being driven by Roni. And while he's pushing, and he looks absolutely wild and vicious behind the wheel of that car, he is managing to put the power down and get some really, really good laps. And he just needs a consistency. As again, we now all hold our breath. Has the downforce package worked as he comes over the hill? It's still doing big wheelies. It's still pulling full dragster spec in the McLaren there. We need to get some wheelie bars in the back of that thing, Adam.
DRS, isn't it? Just get the wing out of the airflow.
That's not DRS, that's Top Gun.
Great stuff. I heard he got a 6.5 from the Swedish judge, though, so we weren't very pleased with that one. That's brilliant stuff. It's great to see the
on that
different
point,
cars.
I think Thamuli still, we believe, still owes us a stop as well, which is why that gap is quite as big as it is at the moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that we were expecting to see Thamuli make his stop. It's gone back. It's gone up by 3 seconds or so to Gabba though, and Gabba we know has stopped. Lorenzo, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he hasn't stopped yet. 12 seconds ahead of Roni. Trespasser here on the camera, second place, 2 seconds back from Sufor. It's been quite a quiet race in terms of broadcast coverage for Sufor, certainly. Trespasser we saw earlier having a little bit of time, but his longevity in the race today is something to be applauded. Certainly, he's having a cleaner run as well, which is great to see. That Group 5 staying well clear of our race leader in the road class there. I say that, I think he just clattered the wall on the way past, so maybe he was taking a little bit too much avoiding.
Trying to gather it up as well. It's crazy.
It looks like a wild ride for that Mustang driver. We will see how it goes, as we do see the two leaders. Oh, sorry, I was going the other way. It's Tomas. Yeah, that's been in the wall hard there, gents, I think. But he makes his stop.
Some very
and he's missed his
interesting
pitbox there as well.
Very interesting camber there on Thomas's car there. I'm glad to see it's getting repaired. No, I think all the drivers were given a bit of a briefing and a bit of a talking to between rounds. We had some, let's say, interesting incidents happen in round 2 involving our road class leaders, where not 1 but 2 road class leaders were taken out while they were being lapped by faster traffic. So again, I'm seeing a slightly more calmer grid, a more sedate grid, but the action is just as frantic. We did mention about great liveries and great racing numbers. I just want to throw out there, Trespasser's actually currently rocking my personal racing number, 27. That's my favourite one, and it might actually be on the best livery as well there. So plaudits to Trespasser there for great livery and great racing number choice.
Lovely stuff.
I like it. Yeah, I'm going to put another one in. I think that number 9 car of Gabba, I love that. It's got Bentley kind of vibes to it, and I'll always love that.
Show.
So as Trespasser there, showing off for the crowd as he goes through the final corner. He's in the lead, and no, he's not. He's P2, sorry, but he is catching ever so slightly to Sufor there. Maserati making his way around Stiefler. So yeah, another case of a prototype 2 giving a road car PTSD, but it's all good. Roni on the track there, and oh, here we go. I love watching Roni drive this car around here today. The car has just, the attitude of it's lovely.
We might get a comparison between the Group 5 and the Prototype 1 here as well.
Here we are, queue up Fly to the Valkyries, here they come.
And there it is. There it is. Roni Airlines, you are clear for takeoff. It's brilliant stuff, isn't it?
I think on your sorry to jump in, on your point from earlier, Kieran, CMOX, I think some praise should be heaped on him. because, as you said, he started at the back, and obviously he started at the back because he had an issue lapping traffic. This race appears to have had no issues at all. We've not seen anything, no damage on the car that I can see. Just been climbing his way up steadily through, being sensible, getting through traffic, getting up, and now I'm not quite sure how far back from Maserati he is, but I think he's definitely climbing his way up there.
Just going to cut across you. Apologies, Sears. We have the race leader in the pits. This is one of the critical phases of the race. We also heard that Cried has pitted from the lead of Group 5, and I think he has re-emerged in the lead. We're hearing that Thamuli has tyres damage and fuel being sorted out on his car, so he might not have got the comprehensive plan from Ferrari, but he's certainly going to take advantage of this one stop he's likely to make during this one. It's a long hold, and it's going to be crucial. That gap between Lorenzo and Roney, which is our only yardstick, is now 4.8 seconds. This gap between the two of them, this is going to be the race right here, I think, gents.
Is this the first time we've seen Thamuli with damage?
I was just going to say, I did not have Thamuli and damage on my bingo card for Retro Cup Round 3, but looks to have got out in good time. It's going to be interesting to see, once the timing tower updates, what the intervals look like and how big his advantage is. Obviously, fresh tyres now to run to the end of the race. I believe he's the last of our leaders to pit, so he will have the freshest tyres. 16 seconds, the difference between himself and Gabba. That sounds like a lot, but over 13 laps remaining in Retro Cup. We could see maybe some more action coming. I'm hearing in my ear that Roney has navigated past Lorenzo for P3 overall in this race. So that is once again something to keep an eye on as Roney continues his march back to the front of the grid and potentially towards, dare I say, a Retro Cup victory. Come on, Roney, let's see someone else on the top step.
I have to say, Roney's further back than I thought he was going to be on that one, so I did hype that one up, but we'll give it a chance. It'll come back at it, don't worry. Roney into third overall, as we mentioned, passing Lorenzo. Maserati also, by the look of it, has got past Lorenzo according to the timing tower as well, so yeah, we're going to see what happens here. Roney, we're just waiting for the next time he clocks over one of the timing loops. It's a 46-second gap between Thamuli and Roney for that prototype 1 and indeed overall lead at the moment, but they have got the no small matter of Gabba in P2 overall and prototype 2 lead in the way. So 15 seconds separates the two of them. This is anyone's.
I think the other thing
Lorenzo pitched with the minor damage we're hearing as well.
The other thing we point out with Thamuli is that you expect by this point in the race, previously he's been a minute in the lead, so you have to highlight Gabba's pace here. He's kept him honest, 15 seconds back in a technically inferior car. It's impressive.
What do you reckon the heart rate increases for Thamuli? You know, doesn't have a minute advantage, he has 15 seconds of advantage. What do you reckon it's gone up by? 10 beats, do you maybe think?
I reckon it's gone up from 65 to 70.
I'll go with that.
He's a cool head from what you see in the traffic. I'm very impressed with even here where he's not got it all his own way. He's still ending up where we expect him to be, and I always think it's a hard place to be, being essentially the person everyone expects to be the best, because he's either going to match our expectations or he's not going to meet them. It's quite difficult, in my opinion, for Thamuli to actually exceed our expectations on a race like this today.
I think
just because of how good he's been.
I think I can explain why that is, though. He's Finnish.
There you go.
That could be a factor. That could certainly be there. But as we now cut to a far more flamboyant nationality with Lorenzo, as he navigates his way through a slightly more tighter and twistier section there. Lorenzo running a very good race as well. Third in class, fifth overall. The series leader and the series founder, promoter, I should say. But he's having a very good race as well. Had some bad luck in rounds 1 and 2, but seems to be going much better in round 3. But Tamas as well with a slightly more, much better looking Group 5 car here now than when we last saw him heading into the pits for a bit of some body work as Omar gets it all sideways again. I'm loving seeing the Datsun. Every time we cut to it, it is just full opposite lock, gents. It's always crossed up. It looks like bags of fun to drive.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Looking in the elsewhere in the road category, Trespasser is now 9 tenths per second behind Sufor. That is another gap that is closing. And indeed, now when you look on the screen in front of you, you see Trespasser very much stalking Sufor, sticking far on the left-hand side under the brakes. Will he gain a little bit? Great camera angle as you see the sheer extent of that hairpin. The amount of ground it covers is actually incredible. Trespasser with a little bit of a wobble on the power there in his Datsun. It's nice to see two Datsuns at the front, as you say. They are good-looking cars, and they seem to be going well as well today. But Trespasser, I don't know. I reckon it's only a matter of time.
Another Datsun. I'm just looking for our regular front runners. Matt Jester. What does anyone see what's happened to him? Because don't think I've seen him all race.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a day of it. I saw him have a bit of an off. I think as I say, he absolutely launched himself into the wall, unfortunately, early on, where most of the car got stoved in. But
that would explain that then.
But I think he's having a tough day of it anyway. And also, look at the flames on the side of this car. Beautiful stuff there.
And fluoro wing mirrors as well. We've gone full chaos livery there. I kind of like it. It might be a bit of a guilty pleasure one. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'll have to refer to you guys on that one. But yeah.
The only thing I can say about it is that I think he's gone through the Halford's bargain bin and just raided the whole lot. As we see Group 5 leader Cried going through here on the camera. He's got a 46-second lead. It's a considerable margin, actually, in the lead. I thought I'd just move on quickly from my unprofessionalism, as he's going to go around Stiefler there to put a lap on the Jägermeister-coloured car. Sufor. Oh, look at that. Both the race leaders in our road category really cheating that curb and really making the most of it there. We've got Sufor,
the line, isn't it?
Drifting through. Oh, it's the line until this front suspension gives out. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, you'd hope they've done enough practice to have strengthened that up.
Yeah, no, I think we'll be all right. I think it's, I'm here to make drama. What can I say? But yeah, Sufor and Trespasser look like they are in a class of 1 at the moment, or class of 2, I suppose, technically. We're hearing that Trespasser has got a couple of concerns relating to his clutch being a bit worn, but we shall see what that looks like, as it looks like they've got Redman who will come and split this one up just a little bit behind in that wonderful red Prototype 2 car.
Look, clutch one is usually either you've had an accident and you've had to restart and maybe not done it quite as well as you could, or it's abusing gear changes, not quite getting in gear and grinding them a bit. So
yeah, I'm experienced at grinding gears, haven't you?
Yep. I'm the resident bad racing driver.
I like that. Well, no, you're the resident racing driver. How good you are at it's irrelevant. Don't worry. It's all right. At some point, I'm sure we'll get a nice onboard of a Prototype 1, and you can tell us how you'd be driving it.
Backwards, probably.
Well, that's fair. Anyway, Thamuli leads this one by 15 seconds as we approach the 2/3 mark. I don't know about you, gents, but the fact that we're 2/3 of the way through this one already is a mark of how good it's been. Roni is second in Prototype 1, third overall. The next car on our screen here, driving very hard, as we've seen him do all throughout the day. Third in Prototype 1, 10th overall is Mies. That's a long way back off the lead overall, but, podium in a class is a podium in a class for Mies. Really good stuff. And he is also 18 seconds ahead of his other teammate for this one, the slightly battered Ferrari at the front end of Moti Mukari. So it's nice to see 4 of our Prototype 1 runners still going at this point, even if one of them has tried to make it look like an open wheel car. Second overall, though, 14 seconds away from the overall lead is Gabba after a fantastic performance.
Come down,
He is indeed. It is closing in on the race leader as he makes his way past Magic.
That was
bold
twitchy.
move, but certainly a good one. He is 37 seconds ahead of 4th overall and second in Prototype 2. Maserati, the man on your screen right here. Another really solid performance from Maserati, doing what he does every time we have a Retro Cup race, extracting good pace out of the Prototype 2. In third in the class. 5th overall is Lorenzo, 19 seconds away from Maserati, but third in that category and safe so far with Seamox, who has been battling with a number of drivers in 4th place in the category, 6th overall, 35 seconds back, and he's about to overtake everyone's favourite of the road cars there, who's very wild there, very good stuff, with Rayman in P7 overall and 5th in the category. So yeah, the first two classes certainly looking like they are hotting up in terms of, I think Roney 40. No, Roney's fallen back ever so slightly, I think.
Yeah, but continuing to push on. Once again, we've got 10 laps remaining here, and anything can happen. Obviously, Thermuli is one of the best drivers in the category. Full stop. At navigating traffic. So while I wouldn't expect him to have any incidents, we know the power of the commentator's curse, and the fact that I've said that now means that we'll immediately pan to him, and something will be going wrong. But Thermuli just needs to keep his head down, keep pushing, and keep that consistency when navigating traffic. But again, Roney, Gabba, Maserati, any one of them could take that lead from him at any second, but it's not been the dominance that we would normally expect from Thermuli. He has been put under pressure. He has been tested. He's ran in P2 for the first time in this championship, which is good for us and for everyone watching. It just basically means that as the rounds continue to tick on and as drivers build confidence with their machinery, Thermuli will be put under more pressure, mainly by gentlemen like Roney here, as he continues to push on, wild, fast, frenetic and frantic in the dinosaur liveried McLaren, as he pushes through the sort of tighter section now as he tries to make inroads in. We've got Highwatt looking up the inside of an LMP2 car and touching. That was slightly heart-in-mouth stuff there, as Moti Makari adds another dent to his collection as he now powers back up the inside through the sort of a tighter section there, as this amazing battle between Group 5 and Prototype 1 machinery. I didn't think I'd be saying that, gents.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the more unconventional battles we're seeing, but yeah, really good stuff from Highwatt there, third in our Group 5 category. I noticed that Mies pitted as well from third in Prototype 1, 10th overall, so Moti Makari now with certainly reason to start pushing. We'll see what happens there, but Moti Makari still under a lot of pressure. Roney now 32 seconds away from P2 overall, going through the first wonderful jump, and that was a little bit wild actually. He tried to turn right to avoid rear-ending or try and get past looks like Omar, and while he did that, the car went airborne, and when it landed it certainly went left. Omar probably blissfully unaware, luckily, of everything that was going on around him at that point, but a good performance so far, fifth at the moment for Omar. Oh, that looked like a very happy Maserati going through there. Good grief.
Was just saying Omar's taxiing across Roney's runway there as he tried to come in for landing. But Maserati is pushing on like a man possessed. He wants to try and get on top of this category. Of course, Gabba has come into Maserati's category and is taking it. Maserati is one of our three category leaders that has won both the rounds and is currently sitting on maximum points. That is going to change today. So far, if everything stays as it is, Gabba is looking to take that crown from Maserati. It'll be interesting to see what that looks like from a championship point of view.
Well, speaking of championship on that, you look at that, you question, could Gabba be trying to win two classes the same season?
I was going to ask this question. Yeah, I was going to ask this question. How does that work? And can you actually compete in multiple categories at one time? Because Gabba is fast no matter what you put him in.
I think you can, as long as you're not switching in the same race day. You can race whichever car you want. Obviously, you're just going to affect championships because you only score the points of the class you're racing in. The other interesting thing is, you get to the final round. It's a 2-hour endurance race. Driver changes are allowed. Does he enter in both classes and switch mid-race?
That sounds excellent to me. I mean, it's I love that. It's very much like Laurens Vanthoor at Petit Le Mans at the weekend, getting the call up to drive both Porsches. I did notice he was the fastest in the class in one and the slowest in the other, but we won't worry about that too much.
I was going to highlight this. It's just been Petit Le Mans, and Laurens Vanthoor just ran in two cars across the weekend. He competed against himself, which obviously Gabba wouldn't be doing, I suppose, but he's certainly competing against as many people as he wants. He wants to take home as much virtual silverware as he possibly can, as we've had Maserati just navigating past Stiefler, who again is having a very quiet race but going about his business. It's going to be very interesting to see how that road class category shakes out in terms of points. It's the most wide open category of the lot. I said 25 points covering the top 6 drivers, a couple of which aren't actually competing this evening. So a lot of points up for grabs in that category.
Yeah, absolutely. It's as you say, it's wide open. It's produced by far the best racing. Not that any of the other racing has been bad, far from it. It's definitely produced the best racing that we've seen in the Retro Cup in the first 2 rounds, and to be honest, I think today's no exception. While we've got Sufor and Trespasser on the screen, and they are getting closer indeed. So before this one becomes a little bit more wild, it is Sufor leading by 0.6 of a second over Trespasser in P2, with Stiefler 48 seconds further back, third in the category. We've got Steve Martin in fourth, ahead of Omar, Magic, and Mad Jester, and then our field is rounded out by Hermani and Racer formerly known. So, yeah, it's about to get wild, I think, boys.
Well, I think these two, with that gap there, yes, they need to battle. They want to win. At the same time, they're both guaranteed either first and second. With that gap, you're not gonna do that in 8 laps or so. So they need to battle, but at the same time, not hit each other off and give up those guaranteed points.
Absolutely, and of course for Sufor, this is possibly slightly uncharted territory in terms of not only leading the race but being this deep into the race. So for Sufor and Trespasser, it's the first opportunity all season to scope each other out in these cars to see what they're like in the battle. And as we head towards these final 8 laps, I'm very sure that Trespasser will not be satisfied to sit just over half a second behind, staring at the rear of that bright purple machine.
I think it'd be also fair to say this is the first time that Datsun's had the pace to win a race.
It certainly has.
Oh!
Moti Makari off here, so unfortunately the fin going off there. That will leave Hiwatt free to drive his Group 5 car unhindered, unfortunately, for Moti Makari. It looked like a great battle. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your pace of your car is. A good motor race is a good motor race, and those two were certainly having one. But we've got Thurley on the screen here. I was about to say only 13 seconds ahead of Gabor. That gap has closed slightly, but 13 seconds. For us to say only about a gap that large, I think is just a hallmark of how good Thamouli's been so far this season. And I think he's continuing 45 seconds ahead of Roney in the class. Yeah, he's doing really well still.
He really is.
When they left the pits and 13 a lap or so ago, so it is kind of coming down.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that is him taking it a little bit easy. We know that Thamouli doesn't back off as such, but we know that there is always a case of if you can just drive within yourself and make sure that you don't do anything stupid, especially with now looking at his onboard there. Brilliant stuff to have that on our coverage. There's a lot of track in front of him, other than possibly that one road car that's about to get to him. So
on the other hand,
good.
You get to the end of that straight, you look in the background, Gabor's there looming at the top of the hill. He'll be in his mirrors.
Yeah, it is now under 13 seconds as well, so it's a very good point. But the other thing to bear in mind, I suppose, is for Thamouli, the bragging rights of P1 overall is great, but if worst case scenario Gabor does get past, it's still the maximum points for his class.
A great point.
Yeah, he'll still be leading his category by quite some margin as well, fairly uncontested. But this is maybe some warning shots across the bow for Thamouli that, the rest of this championship is not going to be a walk for him. He's going to have to turn up. He's going to have to put in the laps. He's going to have to put in the consistency and the practice. But I'm just going to say it. We did have that practice round. I know Adam mentioned it earlier last week, which has allowed the drivers to get a bit more familiar with the championship and with this particular round and racetrack. It seems to have worked really, really well. We've seen much more closer racing. We're seeing much closer battles at the front. None more so than Thamouli. His advantages have been well over a minute in the last 2 rounds, and now he sits at just under 13 seconds. So again, he can't rest on his laurels. At any moment, he could have a trip, have a fall, have a minor scuffle, an excursion on the track, and Gabor and Roney could be all there as Moti Makari takes his stricken Ferrari into the pits, looking for some urgent repairs, I'm sure.
Yeah, the other shot across the bar, of course, was that race start. Obviously started on pole, but Roney, I think it's from P7, took the lead off the start. So, and then kept it until he made a mistake. So that's another shot as well. Roney didn't get through, and then he overtook him and cleared off. He only got through because Roney made a mistake.
Yeah, that's very true as well. So, a little question for you, gents. If we're thinking Gabor might be going for the double in the championship in terms of trying to compete in 2 classes for the rest of the year, or is there a case to be made for Gabor to try and get into a prototype 1 and be as imperious as he has been in the other 2 cars he's driven so far this year?
I'm trying to debate what's going to be a stronger statement, winning 2 categories or turning up to a new category, maybe not 1, not 2, but 3 of them, and winning in class. Because if he decides for the last 2 or maybe even 3,
That's
the leader.
That's the race
and the
leader
trespasser goes through. Trespasser's going through.
Unbelievable. Lorenzo went past in the prototype too, and it looked like he got slightly panicked, unfortunately, but that was a big clatter into the wall there. Unbelievable stuff, as I think we've got one of the prototype 1 cars coming between the 2 as well. That's a pivotal moment in this race, though. Trespasser getting past Sufor after an error.
There's visual damage on the left. On the brakes, it looked a bit squirrely, so I would, and that was quite a hard hit as well. That indicates there's probably some damage on the left-hand side.
Absolutely. And that car doesn't look like it's got the pace compared to Trespasser. He has lost a lot of time just since that hairpin.
Guys, Trespasser just pulled the lever and came up jackpot, and he has cashed in as he now continues to lead the road class category. That was a huge moment for Sufor. I would say on the face of it, honestly, lucky to still be going in the right direction and not to have had a much bigger incident there, but he will no doubt be carrying some damage. Can he counter back onto the back of Trespasser? Can he respond? Maybe not. These 2 have been very equally matched throughout the race, but yeah, absolute great moment there for Trespasser as he now inherits the lead of his category. Can he see it out for the remaining 6 laps? As we look at Thamuli, who has some damage on the front right corner. I think he's had a moment somewhere on the track. I'm looking at the timing tower. I think he has lost a little bit of time. Just under 11 seconds a gap to Gabba. Does Thamuli have some damage?
I think you might be right there. The gap is 11 seconds, as you say. Gabba, really, he's going to see it, and he's going to think, I might have a chance of an overall victory here. The gap to Roni has grown a little bit as well. So, yeah, this is a turn up for the books, really. We've got Thamuli's on board on the inset. Doesn't look particularly slowed by what's happened. It might just be a bit of visual damage, bit of a knock, but certainly that will have shaken Thamuli. His heart rate will be at least 80 by now, I would have said. But yeah, unbelievable. As Roni, it looks like, actually has fallen to 4th place. He looks like he's lost about 10 or 15 seconds there. Maserati up to 3rd overall as well. So another excursion, unfortunately, for Roni after a drive that's really been exceptional so far.
Guys, this is endurance racing. Trespasser has spent the vast majority of this race sat behind Sufor, about a second behind, waiting. Just waiting for something to go wrong, waiting for an opportunity, something, and it's happened. He's taken it, he's running with it.
He's running with it, but he's being chased and hotly pursued by Sufor, who wants his lead back. He's not going anywhere as the gap between them sits at 0.6 seconds. They've essentially just done a bit of a switcheroo and they've just changed places. They're both still pushing really hard and both running at a very similar pace. If one of them cracks, there will be advantages to be picked up and gained from the other. These 2 are continuing to fight as they work the way through the pack, as Thomas looking up the inside of Mad Jester but thinking better of it and running wide, and Gabba going through there as well. That was nearly a very awkward moment there for Thomas, but Mad Jester there on the back of Magic getting all sideways that narrow section. Gabba's going to have to be careful about how he navigates that. He throws it up the inside. That's very clumsy from the 2 of them, but Gabba somehow finding a way through. That could have been a lot worse from there. Now he's trying to go around the outside of Magic as well, and Tamas going past there. This is the danger of lapsed traffic. This is why I'm saying Thamuli can't rest on his laurels. None of our class leaders can. At any moment, they could come across a road class category car at the completely wrong time and find themselves hindered by, a couple of seconds, but maybe even multiple seconds if they have an incident, which so nearly happened there. Sufor continuing to push onto the back of Trespasser as they head into the heavy braking zone and down to the hairpin at the bottom of the circuit. We have Trespasser covering off the outside, throwing a slightly defensive shape, but nothing too crazy. Sufor too far back to look to make a move as Trespasser running as narrow as he can to the line, running slightly wide, and there Sufor showing his nose, but nothing doing there. Trespasser keeping the momentum, but he is incredibly close. I don't think this is going anywhere. The closed of this gap, it has come down massively, Rob.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Sufor. I wondered whether or not once he'd lost that lead, he was just going to drop back ever so slightly, but he's proven me exceptionally wrong. Sufor pushing really, really hard there. Interesting to note that Gabba has lost about 2.5 seconds to Thamuli from that incident and from the ensuing chaos after it as well. So, a little bit of a dent in his aspirations. We've got 5 laps to go. One of the only classes that we haven't mentioned an awful lot lately, so I'm just going to give him a quick rundown. Pride leads in Group 5 by almost a minute over Tim DC. So that P2, 9th overall for Tim DC there in our Porsche. And then we've got the last 2 classified runners so far in Group 5. Oh, here we go. We've got the back marker in the way there, unfortunately. Contact and contact.
No.
Sufor, another unfortunate incident. That's that's going to put paid surely to his chances. It'll be yet more damage, but more importantly, really, a lot of time lost as we see Hermani there as well. Unfortunately, Inno having a bit of trouble with the back markers coming through. I didn't see enough of it to make a statement as to whose fault it was, and that's certainly not my role here. But Sufor losing out is an indisputable fact of that exchange. Unfortunately, Trespasser being overtaken now by Rayman. Visually, it looks to be just over a second. We'll get it as they come round the final corner and head over the timing line for what will be, I believe, their 22nd time. But Sufor losing a lot of ground there. I think my major concern is not necessarily the gap that currently exists, which is now 1.8 seconds, but has that second and third incident for Sufor played to the health of his car?
To keep with the analogy, Trespasser just keeps on doubling up. He keeps on building. It's just crazy to think how much good luck has gone his way the past couple of laps. But as Adam said before, he's put himself in that position by staying tight to Sufor, waiting for his opportunity to capitalize. And he's had not one but 2 moments. And when it's happened, he's taken full advantage. As we now sit on board with Mad Jester, who is seesawing at the reel as Maserati blitzes past both him and Magic. Can Mad Jester make up any more positions? As Roni finds a way to navigate, and Mad Jester's looking for a big lunge up the inside, big lunge, and a big squeeze from Magic. That was a little bit of stuff there. Well, it might not have been on, but it looked spectacular from the onboard. He thought, I'll have a go at that, I'll give it a shot. And he goes again, Manchester up the inside of Magic. He's thinking, I really want this. You've down 4%, I'm going to take full advantage of it. Give me an inch, I'll take a mile, he says, as we now wait with bated breath. Who comes through first? Around the camera angle, we've got Magic just ahead of Manchester, who's blocking him on the exit. They're rubbing shoulders again. They will not back down. Magic continues to lead, but Manchester's going nowhere. He's like a boomerang. You throw him and he comes back. He refuses to step away as he dives up the inside from downtown Blackwood. Amazing stuff. Brilliant move from Manchester as he goes full Daniel Ricciardo send. But Magic now in the draft pulls to the outside, which will be the outside line as they head down the back straight over the crest. Magic retakes the advantage, retakes the position as we now wait to see who's going on. And there we have Magic. There's pulled out a little bit of an advantage, and Trespass and Mad Jester appears to have backed off ever so slightly. We can see the Porsche's full advantage there on the straights, the power advantage, but in the corners, Mad Jester is making up so much time as Maserati and Roni now are exchanging places. Roni has just gone past and taken P3 overall, but this battle is not over yet, getting slightly crossed up both over the jumps. Maserati looking left and right. Can he take advantage the same way that Mad Jester did? He's doing his best with a bit of a lunge and a bit of a scoop, poking him up the back, but nothing doing there. And he now heads onto the slightly more unique layout of this course as it now extends into this heavy braking zone. Is he fancying a bit of a lunge? No, not this time. On the brakes, follows narrow. Roni running very wide there. Yeah, nearly into the back of the Group 5 car as well there. And he gets right back on the power, and Roni is able to completely gap Maserati there. The power on full display there, gents.
We've got Sufor in the pits in the road category from P2 as well, so it's gone from bad to worse for Sufor. I don't know whether he's going to lose enough time to sacrifice second place, but a disaster in terms of his chances of road. So Gabba has stopped as well, I believe. Sorry, no, apologies. So he's stopped, but he hasn't done anything in the pit stop. He's just lost a bit of time. So unfortunately, not quite getting that. Tomas pitting from fourth and last at the moment in Group 5. But yeah, I think we've just seen the epitome of multi-class endurance racing there. Cars from different categories and indeed the same, all having different strengths and weaknesses. They're going to make their lap time in very different ways, and nothing personified that better than that wonderful battle between Magic and Mad Jester. But we've got 4 laps to go, and it was ever thus. It's not quite as clean a car as it has been before. But Thamuli, 26 seconds to the good now ahead of Gabba after Gabba pits without unfortunately doing anything in the pit stop. Maserati going through there. The Martini train going resplendent there as well, the two Porsches in the different categories. Great stuff for the Alcohol Advertising Committee there, but absolutely beautiful liveries both.
I think Tim DC switched cars. I think he was he was also in round 1 in the Mustang, had to miss round 2, and he switched to the Porsche here.
I think you might be right. I think, I'm certainly not going to disbelieve you, but Tim doing very well in that Porsche.
Whoa.
P2 over the top there, bouncing through, not quite as spectacular as Roney, but actually that slide just as good as well. Sufor in 15th overall, still P2 in that road category after the pit stop, but 14 seconds only ahead of Stiefler now. So clearly elected that damage was enough to inhibit the way he was going to drive the car. So now he's got something that's a little bit more drivable. It should be okay. Trespasser hasn't stopped yet. Neither has Stiefler, Steve, Omar or Magic. We're only 3 laps away, so it'd be a question of whether they have to stop or whether that was a choice. But Mad Jester has indeed stopped as well, and he's going to go round the outside of Magic. Brilliant move there. Will this one be for keeps? It's nice and tight as they go through the bridge there, but Magic has lost the position to Mad Jester, and it looks to be relatively clean as we've got contact for the wall for Magic as well. That Porsche might have a straight line speed advantage, but it's going to cost him there when he hits the wall. Going through now into the final corner of this Blackwood circuit, and Magic, it's a little bit of a gap between him and Mad Jester, and now it's just a question of seeing whether that flat 6 power can propel him back forward in towards 19th overall and what will be 6th in the road category. Magic now coming over the hill. So boys, what do we reckon?
Difficult to say, but Magic's going to throw a lasso over the back of Mad Jester and try to reel him in as quickly as possible. But Mad Jester has always been coming from behind. That's always been his problem. He's always had the pace deficit to Magic, which meant that when he navigated past him in the tight twisty section, he would lose out on the straight. Whereas now that advantage has been flipped, I reckon now that Mad Jester may have that position on lock, providing he doesn't make any major mistakes. But that's a big asterisk next to that. There's 3 laps to go, and anything can happen.
Another big asterisk here is that Gabor is back in the pits for his 3rd stop of the race. We can only hope that whatever he wanted to do in the 2nd stop, he will now manage in this one. But that's going to cost him another chunk of time. And it's damage only we're hearing for Gabor. But it's it's only a 30-second margin that he had over Roney, and then 32 to Maserati in 4th. Maserati here coming straight in with a shout. It's a 25-second stop, so we'd expect Maserati to be around 7 or 8 seconds behind Gabba, but he's and Roney is through as well. So yeah, Gabba moving down to 3rd overall, sacrificing a bit there. But again, and then that's a wild move there, trying to get through. He only just gets that stopped while he goes past Moti Makari. Lucky not lucky, but skilled to not to hit the wall. But it was only just for Gabba, 3rd position. And it's only 3 seconds actually, that margin between Gabba and Maserati. One mistake really is all it will take for Maserati to get another class victory in the Retro Cup in Prototype 2 and make it the hat trick. But Gabba now all of a sudden has really put himself under pressure.
But I think it should. I think it's be difficult to try and pinpoint why Gabba's done that. I think the answer might not be what we want. I think it's Gabba doing Gabba things.
I was going to say potentially just trying to solidify and lock down maybe his overall category, more so than the overall classification. Obviously, he had a much bigger advantage to Maserati than he did Roney, so maybe that damage was affecting him. Maybe he thought, you know what, I've got the advantage, I've got the time in hand, let me get that fixed for the last couple of laps, just so I can make sure I can lock in this category win. But I'm just hearing in my ear that Moti Makari has spoken out as well, and Maserati has bumped into him as well. So just to go back to our earlier point there, it's all for nothing anyway, because Maserati, the time that he gained in the pit stop, he's just lost getting caught up in Moti Makari's incident.
Absolutely.
There's no way on the Manchester Magic debate. I think who's going to win that depends on who exits the last corner in the lead. I know it sounds obvious, but I don't think that straight line speed on that Porsche is enough to pull him ahead before the start finish. I think that balance performance change has done wonders, because they can now battle each other, as we've seen here, barely.
I see what you mean. It's only really the very top speed that's the difference maker for the Porsche. But yeah, I'm glad you clarified the rest of that point, because you were making a point that I think everybody knew about motor racing, which was good. But no, you're absolutely right. I think there's a lot. Yeah, there is a lot to be said for, as we've said before, the different strengths and weaknesses of these cars are very, very interesting, and to see it play out the way it is just fascinating.
Of course, previous rounds, we've just seen that Porsche just leapfrog away and just drive off, clear off, no competition.
Definitely, but I think looking at the clear air debate as well, now that Mad Jester has got ahead and has had a couple of laps without having to battle, that gap is 1.3 seconds. It's by no means enough to say that the game is over for Magic, but that Datsun can certainly enjoy the clear air and make use of the faster parts of the circuit for it. So yeah, it's really, really an intriguing battle. Themuli is going to come and cross the line to start lap number 29. It's a very different way that he's managed to get it, but that lead is now back over 1 minute, as we have become so accustomed to saying. But yeah, he's certainly done it the hard way today so far.
Well, you mentioned there that was maybe been game over, not quite game over just yet, but Themuli very much is our final boss. No one can seem to touch him. This is potentially heading towards a third victory in 3 rounds. He has been put under more pressure, as you said, Rob. It's not been quite as A to B as it has been the previous 2 rounds, but again, he has been so good at, again, navigating the traffic. That's his biggest strength. The way that he gets through the Group 5, the road class and the prototype 2 category just makes him a bit of a standout amongst his compatriots, as we always seem to cut to prototype 1 cars with damage and spinning and getting all sideways. Themuli always looks in control, as we now look at Trespasser, who is leading his respective category in the road class. It's been a great race for him. He was closely following Sufa for most of the round, and then obviously took advantage when he needed to. Cried, who's had a very quiet race. We've not seen too much of our Group 5 category. Our apologies to them, I suppose, but they've just had such a quiet race. Cried is leading from Team DC, from Highwatt, your top 3 in category P8, P9 and P10 overall. You can see them with the orange banner on the timing tower. But yeah, Cried leading the category for Group 5 as he heads onto the slightly more well, let's say the created complex for this road event to obviously extend the track out.
Yeah, really good stuff. As you say, Cried quietly getting about his business, and it looks like he's going to get a fantastic result in Group 5. Getting the TV time that he deserves now for such a good performance. But as you say, it's nice sometimes to hear that you've got a driver who's just been going around, and I think the same can be said for Tim DC as well. Highwatt we've seen a little bit more of with some of his battles with the Prototype 1 cars, so particularly with Moti Makari, so he's had a little bit more time on air, but the 3 of them, I can't fault their performances here. They've just gone about their business, achieved what they can, and they're going to be rewarded at this point with podiums for each of them.
So on the note on Magic's pace drop off, you can see he's dropped back to 6 seconds back there. I think it's just because since he's been passed, he's been tapping the occasional walls, just picking up slow bits of damage every single time, which is just causing obviously pace loss because he's hit a wall and pace loss because of damage.
Absolutely, and indeed, as you mentioned there, a bit of damage, and he has indeed pitted. So he's pitted for fuel. He neglected not to fix any damage, but critically, if he's pitted for fuel, how many of the other road cars who haven't yet pitted are having a bit of a squeaky bum moment with a lap and a half for them to go? So Trespasser is going to be, well, let's see. Trespasser hasn't stopped. Sufor has. I don't know, maybe we're going to see the return of Sufor. Mad Jester has, but Stiefler, Steve Martin and Omar all have not stopped yet. It's the final lap now for Themuli, but yeah, maybe a little bit of a concern. But Themuli, as we say, looking a little bit more sideways than we've seen there as he goes round. I believe that was Stiefler, but yeah, another really good performance so far, starting the final lap.
We've got a really great battle going on here between Stiefler and Martin, old sparring partners again. This is for the final spot on the podium in the road category. We've got Jägermeister versus the plain white livery. Pick your battles, gents. Who do you want to go for? But we've got Stiefler leading from Martin as he gets slightly sideways. Martin on the inside, rubbing on the rear quarter panel. They are now side by side as they head into the left and right hander. And Martin sweeps around the outside. What a move, gents. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, awesome stuff from Steve Martin, picking his time to strike there with aplomb. Or has he? Because there's half a lap to go, and Stiefler is all over the back of him still. He will definitely have at least one opportunity to come back. We see Thumuli now coming through the left-hand hairpin of the circuit. And yeah, this one's not over in road, though, I don't think.
No, a battle for podium and also an extra 2 points. You're not going to take that line down, are you? There's going to be a scrap there.
Now, we've had 30 laps, nearly 2 hours of racing, and it all comes down to half a lap for the final spot on the podium in the road category. We've got Sufor running in P2, Trespasser running in P1, who is choosing not to pit. He's going to keep on pushing. He's rolled the dice again, and he's going to gamble. Can he come up jackpot for the third time this evening? Trespasser will have to wait and see. It'd be great to cut back to Martin and Stiefler and see what's going on there as Trespasser navigates the DTM-style curbs. We've got Martin leading from Stiefler there. That position looks fairly locked down, but in the braking zone, Stiefler is catching up slightly more sideways and crossed up, but not electing to make any contact on this occasion. But don't expect Stiefler to take this line down. As Adam said, he will show his nose and he will look to push on. I'm getting it in my ear that both of these gentlemen just locked up different axles, one for the front and one for the rear. So anything can happen with both of these cars with these slightly unique weight categories. But as we see Thumuli now pushing on through the final section of the race, not has been as A to B as likes Rob, but again, a great drive from Thumuli, and looks like he's going to have this one wrapped up.
Absolutely, making his way through the final part of the outfield section of this course. He's going to turn under the bridge for the final time, making his run down the left-hander into the chicane just prior to that final corner. He currently leads by over a minute, but it has been anything but the race that would suggest. Thumuli, an absolutely incredible drive once more. The car not pristine as you might see in the museum, but it is looking absolutely fantastic for Thumuli. He drives down the main straight for the final time, weaving across the line to take victory here at round 3 of the Retro Cup in Blackwood. A fantastic result. We've got Roney in P2 a minute back. The class leaders we are looking for here are Gabber, Cried and Trespasser, but we've still got Stiefler pushing exceptionally hard to try and take that final podium position. He had a good look a couple of corners ago before we cut to the camera, but will he get it as they go through that final chicane and into the final corner? We've got Redman cross the line to take 5th in the category. Stiefler there doesn't look like he's going to get ahead. He's got a group 5 that's going to come ahead. It's going to be Steve Martin to take the final podium position ahead of Stiefler, but it looks like Sufor there has taken P2 in the category. So here we go, we've got Trespasser. He is the race leader, and indeed looks like he's going to take the road category. He managed to get across the line before Thumuli got to the line to finish the race overall, so he will end up a whole lap ahead, but it's really good stuff. Trespasser, we've said it a few times today, just quite quiet going through the way that he's doing things, and in the end took advantage of a couple of bits of misfortune for Sufor. Great stuff. We also see on the left hand side, Cried has finished to take the victory in the class, and Gabber takes victory in Prototype 2. While the rest of the cars come through, gentlemen, your driver of the day, please.
I'll let Adam go first.
Oh, do you have to?
I'm going to throw you under the bus there. You go
I'm going to
first.
go Gabber. I'm going to go Gabber. I think, just aside from the mistaken pit without repairing, bit of miscommunication pit there, I think the pace he showed all day, being 15 seconds off the Thumuli, he's normally over a minute ahead, and keeping everyone honest, I think impressive drive for me.
I am going to throw it out there that Roney might be my driver of the day, and here's why. The step change between rounds 1, 2 and here has been huge for him. He was a contender in the early stages of this race, and I think that gives me a lot of optimism heading into rounds 4, 5, 6 and ultimately 7 that Roney might be the one to take the battle to Thumuli. This championship is far from over, and while Thumuli is dominating, Roney is building, and I suspect that we will see him challenging Thumuli in the rounds to come.
Yeah, I think that's both fantastic choices. I won't say you've stolen mine, but you may have done. I'm going to pick someone different. I'm going to say Cried. Quieter race, as we mentioned during the broadcast, but I'm really impressed that the gap filled by Gabber very much got filled by Cried today in terms of a good race, performing well. And we see Trespasser just coming round the final part of the track, able to take the adulation of the crowd through the left-hander here onto that final chicane for the final time. Trespasser looking really, really good here. Looks like he's probably going to finish in P. I don't know where he's going to finish overall. I won't try and predict, but yeah, really good performance from Trespasser as well. And he.
I think to add to your point, Rob, if you can do an endurance race, win your class, and no one know you were there, you've had a good race.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just taking a look at those best laps. Thamuli, the only driver to get under that 3-minute barrier. That's really good stuff. Our final finisher there, Trespasser, taking the class win in road. So we're going to look through the results of a frenetic race. Thamuli wins this one in 1 hour, 32 minutes and 4 seconds, over a minute ahead of Roni, who is second in Prototype 1. That belies what really happened during the race, though. Roni put on a great performance, as did various others, to give Thamuli the biggest challenge this season so far in Retro Cup. Gabba takes the honours in Prototype 2, third overall, just 3 seconds behind Roni for second on that overall podium, while Mazdarati is second in Prototype 2 ahead of Lorenzo, Simox and Rayman. The class is all stratified between first and seventh. Cried, as we mentioned, driving a race of really, really good, quiet notoriety there, taking victory in Group 5 ahead of Tim DC and Highwatt. While in 11th place, we've got Mies ahead of teammate Moti Makari, the two drivers having pretty eventful races, but finishing third and fourth in Prototype 1, getting to the end and getting good points as a result. Whereas in 13th place, you've got the Group 5 runner of Tomas. Winner in the road category after a really eventful race, but just keeping his nose clean and eventually waiting for others to make the mistakes. Trespasser takes the win by a good margin over Sufor, with Steve Martin rounding out the podium after a late, really interesting race with Stiefler. Omar rounds out the top 5 with Mad Jester in 6th ahead of Magic, rounding out our top 20. And in 21st, our final page of the results, Inno making a good performance in his first run in the championship, taking 21st ahead of Hermani. And then we have our very small, actually, list of non-finishers. Twin Cam finishing not classified 19 laps off the pace in Prototype 2 ahead of Macho. Unite also Hachiroku after a strong start for that driver. And then Zlatanov rounding out our list of race results, not finishing in the Group 5. So, gentlemen, Kieran and Adam, we have an interview as well coming from Mies, which is going to be really interesting, our first one of the season. So, Kieran, I'm going to let you ask the first question.
Okay, hi Mies. Great race there from you. Really exciting to see some of your overtakes there in rounds 3. Just wondering there, obviously your teammates with Thamuli now, and he has won not 1, not 2, but all 3 rounds of the Retro Cup. What can you and other Category 1 drivers do to catch him? What do you think you guys need to take the fight to Thamuli?
Hey, good evening. For myself, I don't know. He's on a whole different level on the pace, so I can't really help to catch him. I mean, he's doing very good. I'm happy for my race tonight. Of course, it was a good P3 in the class for me, so I'm very happy about it. I was almost skipping this race because I was feeling so inconfident, but I'm glad I did join in the end.
If I jump in next, I'm interested in your race prep, especially as a team. You've got 3 teammates, all in the same class, all in the same car. I was wondering, what kind of work do you do pre-race together? And do you find value in having a teammate like that you can learn off?
Yeah, sure. We go like practice on our own mostly when we have time. But the Hamley is very great with the setups. He always provides a setup, so it's easy for me because I trust and I can get a good setup. I just ask him and he will lend me one. So I'm always like on the top notch, like setup wise. And then it's just about my skill how I can like convert it. So it makes my job very much easier having such a teammate who is always so generous and so skilled one.
Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Firstly, congratulations on that 3rd place in the category. As you say, it's a difficult drive, a difficult car to drive. Sorry. So, how would you say that your feeling of the car has evolved over the first 3 rounds? Are you certainly feeling more confident than you were?
Yeah, the confidence is slowly but surely building up. This track was like especially very hard, so it kind of ate my confidence a little bit. But I did manage good on the qualifying, so I felt like confident again, confident enough to race, and it was good tonight.
Yeah, really good stuff. I believe we also have another interviewer coming in, so thanks a lot for that, Mies. Really good result, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
And joining us now is the race winner, the Imperious, the Hemily. Thank you very much for joining us. How do you feel after that win?
Sweaty.
I love it. I love it. So so that one, if you look at the results, it was over a minute's victory, but I mean that it's possibly less simple than the results suggest. So yeah, do you feel that was a bigger challenge than you've had previously during the Retro Cup this season?
Yeah, it was the most difficult round so far. The guys behind were matching my pace early on, and Roni was actually faster in the start. He was lapping some 4 seconds faster than he was in qualifying. I suspect he was heavy sandbagging.
Absolutely. No, I've got to love a little bit of sportsmanship and gamesmanship as well. But as I say, congratulations on yet another wonderful victory.
Thank you.
Hi Thamuli, it's Kieran here. It's been a pleasure to commentate over you over the past 3 rounds. We've been running out of adjectives to describe your driving and how dominant you have been. I just wanted to ask essentially, was there any debate in switching to the McLaren in your category following the balance of performance changes to the Ferrari?
No, I think I could have matched the pace, but no point changing.
Fair enough. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
It's a good motto, that. I was curious. What was I curious about? It's gone out of my head. That's really embarrassing. Yeah.
Adam is overcome with stardom as Thamuli has joined us in the commentary booth. I fully understand it.
Absolutely, we've got a celebrity in our midst, but yes, no, it's if it comes back to you, Sears, here we go.
Do you think that the difference in your competition is a sign of things to come, or is it going to be a track dependent thing? Do you think you'll come back stronger next race?
We'll see about that. I forgot already what the next race was. Was it Fern Bay?
Well, hopefully we can get that on the. There we go.
There we go. Fern Bay next up ahead of the Kyoto Ring, Berlin and West Hill. So while we've got that on the screen, is there a track of the next 4 that is your favourite that you feel like you'll perform the best at?
Fern Bay.
Great stuff.
Berlin should be difficult for me, especially if Roni keeps up his pace.
Right,
McLaren is faster.
Okay. That's interesting. Well, it certainly looks like it's going to be a really fascinating rest of the season with 4 rounds to go. But no, thank you very much for joining us. And then we've got yet another interview. We've been absolutely sport today. We have Trespasser, the race winner in the road category. So Trespasser, thank you very much for joining us. Adam, I'm going to put you on the spot. Have you got any? What's your question?
Well, hello. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you for finishing on your wheels this race.
Thank you, finally. It happened.
That was an incredible battle we saw. We all really enjoyed it. Obviously, we've seen balanced performance again change here, which seemed, from our perspective, to balance everyone out, and you actually could have a battle, and you finally got a car which is capable of winning. That battle with Sufor, how did you find it?
Yes, it was a struggle because lap 1, turn 1 almost happened what happens to me all the time on this series, pretty much. So from that point on, I had some damage on the left side. So I was somewhat having issues with tractions because camber was not enough. So I was thinking Sufor will drive away, but somehow that did not happen. So it was pretty much flat out pushing, risking some turns on the braking. I was pushing in a way that either I make it or I will crash it. But yeah, at the end, Sufor got unlucky with the traffic similar that I had earlier on, but a bit worse. So shame he had that incident and battle ended, because I was expecting to have like last 5-6 laps really intense, because we're like second apart. So shame on that.
Thank you for that. Rob, I'm going to throw to you.
Yeah. Firstly, congratulations, as Adam says, a really, really strong performance here. I'm going to ask a question about some of the faster cars that you share the track with. We've seen in the past races some challenges with the prototypes in particular coming through with their massive speed differential. So, how would you say that you're adapting to that challenge?
I would say it's more for the guys that are faster to adapt, because for us, a slower class, we just have. Our aim is to be as predictable as possible for the guys. So for the faster classes, it's important to get the timing right, to have mindset somewhere to lift and then get us on the exit or something, because on the second round, some people were trying to get us at the apex or at the braking. This round, a bit more people were trying to be more patient to get it at exit, not on entry. So that's somewhat better from guys. There were some close calls, some guys did overshoot braking, and there were some accidents overall, but it was better this round, I would say.
Absolutely. No, I think it was. I think it was, as you say, the standard was certainly a lot higher, and it was nice. I think it's reflected in how many people finished, which was great. So no, thank you very much for that, Kieran.
Hi, Trespasser. Got a couple of questions for you, actually. So I'll start with the more serious one first. You are our third different winner in the road class category. It's my favourite category of the four because it's so open. I'm just wondering, what do you think are going to be some of the keys to winning in this championship category, with it being so open and so close amongst the top runners?
Surviving and luck, because I'm just catching now. I had potential to win before both those races, but my luck was not so great. So shame this round we did not see Donald. That was good on round one, so he lost some points. But overall, yeah, consistency, pace, and just somewhat luck as well.
Great stuff. And last question from me. I was actually being very complimentary of your livery choice this weekend. So this evening, apologies. We do like a little competition with who has the best livery, and I thought yours was probably the best on the grid this evening. Just wanted to get a bit more behind your race number choice. 27 is actually the number I would race with if I was a racer. So just wondering why 27 was chosen.
To be honest, Lorenzo did the skin. But usually I race either 72 or 27 or 73. I don't know even why, but I like this combination of number. So I've been racing LFS with either of three numbers for like last 8 years, I think. So
Nice.
This time it was 27.
Nice. There's a good personal connection there.
Yes.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much. Well, that's unfortunately, Kieran, means that you can't race. You have to stay in the commentary booth. Someone's taking your number already.
Absolutely gutted.
No, that's fantastic. Thank you ever so much for joining us, Trespasser, and again, congratulations for the for the race victory. So, gentlemen,
Thank you guys, and thank you for the commentary.
no problem. That's our pleasure. It's great. Thank you for providing such great action for us to commentate over. So, yeah, Kieran, Adam, any closing thoughts in this one for us?
I'll go first, and I think I'm going to say that Thamuli needs to be glancing over his shoulder, checking his rearview mirror, because I think there is a pack of very fast drivers in Roni and Gabba, if he elects to maybe stay in Prototype 2 or Prototype 1, that are coming for his crown. I don't think this championship is over yet. I think a couple of rounds' time, we could have a very wide open overall championship.
I think my takeaway from this race is congratulations to the organisers, because the change to the balance of performance, the minor changes to the track to make it better for racing and less just a crash fest, I think everything's culminated in an absolutely spectacular race, and it's really going to help the championship going forward. I think this is going to be brilliant.
Absolutely. I think it's been a wonderful race. Thank you for both of you for helping me commentate on it. On behalf of myself, Robert Mathershaw, Kieran, Redman, and Adam Sears, we're going to hand back to the boss now. Pete, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Rob, Kieran, and Sears. I hope you all enjoyed commentating on that. I certainly enjoyed watching in the background. Chris and I enjoyed that one, and I think, yeah, you're right that the improvements that Lorenzo has made have definitely rubbed off on the championship. Congrats to all the winners, etc. Thanks everyone for watching, and you can join us next time in the Retro Cup for Fern Bay Retro on October the 27th. But you don't have to wait that long to see more action from Race Green events in Live for Speed, because tomorrow night it's the return of Roni's Tuesday Fun Race at Fern Bay Rallycross Reversed with the Prodigy all-wheel drive. That'll be at the same time and the same place, 7 o'clock at UTC here on Sim Broadcasts. And yeah, from all of us here to all of you, we hope you have a great evening, and we'll see you all next time for more Retro Cup action in Live for Speed. Good night.